Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster, and we are here for part 2 of What If Asta Was Half Ghost. Now then, if you haven't seen the other two parts to this, then I recommend that you stop here and go watch those, alright, before watching this. With that being said, I do hope you're enjoying your Easter holiday and enjoying all the what ifs I've been putting out. So, without further ado, let's hit it. Hey guys, now then, when we last left off, Asta just got his Black Bull's robe after passing the baptism. So, upon waking up and walking out of his room, Cujo pulled on the pants of his leg, stopping him from slamming his face into a pillar in front of his door, which Magna then walked up, saying good morning to him. As Asta asked about this, Magna stated that the entire Black Bull's hideout has a tendency to sift around with its layout, as he gestured for Asta to follow him for the tour, as Asta was kind of tired and wanted to go exploring himself. He used his ecto energy, converting it into its electrical form, shocking him, causing Magna to think that Luck's trying to pick a fight with him right at the break of dawn, as he turned around looking for Luck, stating, "You're not getting away from me that easily, Luck. We'll talk about that. We'll talk later, Asta. I gotta find that little punk." As Wolf asked, "Why did you do that?" Asta remarking, "I can get around faster just by phasing through." As Wolf stated, "I've already taken a look. There seems to be two individuals that you haven't met yet within here, though one of them does appear to be bedridden, while the other seems to be some silvered hair girl." As he looked at Wolf, stating, "Okay, is there anything else?" Wolf tells him that the female's living area seems to be heavily covered in traps, most likely to keep the male occupant of the base out. As Asa remarks, "That sounds like overkill. Like, I mean, are we talking deadly traps?" Wolf remarked, "Very deadly. Even spikes to come down from the ceiling," causing us to look at him. As he goes around seeing everything that the hideout has, he runs into Noelle, which they do get into the same argument as before, with Noelle remarking about Asta being a commoner, which caused some irritation with Wolf and Cujo, even though Noelle couldn't see them due to them being invisible at the moment. As Magna ran up to him, remarking, "Oh, looks like you met the other newbie." As the argument does get worse from here with Magna involved, as Noelle goes to fire water magic at Asta, but then hits Magna with it, as he storms off, stating that she's quitting the Black Bulls. As this happens, Magna remarks that he has chores to do. So he goes ahead and finishes up all the chores that he has to do: dusting, cleaning, and even the laundry and such. With those taken care of, he can go walk around outside. As he ends up finding Noelle practicing. She's missing a target she's aiming for over and over again. And when he accidentally steps on a branch, she notices him and begins charging up magic to fire at him, but loses control, creating a whirling sphere of water magic going on a rampage. As Asta quickly transformed to fly away from this to not get caught in it, even phasing so that he wouldn't be hit. As the Black Bulls came out to see what was going on, Asta landed beside them. As they saw Asta in this odd armor with pale skin, red eyes, and this glowing green hair. As Yami looked at him and noticed his key, it's completely gone. It isn't just that he can't sense his magic anymore, he can't even sense his key anymore. As Yami walked up to him, looking, stating, "All right, you'll have some questions to answer later, but from what I can tell from what you did in the entrance exam, you might be able to handle this, right?" With Asta looking at it, stating, "Yeah, probably." With him hearing Libe in his head stating, "Yeah, this is pretty simple. All we gotta do is slice it in half." As he smirks, taking out the Demon Slayer sword and beginning to float, surprising the Black Bulls a bit. As he soars up there, slicing it in half, he ends up deciding to split himself into two, since it seems that Yami already catch on to somewhat of what he is, and he can't really get out of it now. Though no real point in hiding what he can really do. While he divided himself to multiply into two Astas, one grabbed Noelle, and as they floated down and put Noelle down gently, the two Astas merged back together, with him resting the Demon Slayer sword on his shoulder. As Asta smirked, remarking about how amazing Noelle is and how envious he is of her incredible magic, causing Noelle some confusion. She notices that he doesn't have magic, though this weird form he has is odd. As Asta scratches his head, not knowing what to say, but the other Black Bulls come in and give the same talk to Noelle as before, stating that she's welcomed here and that they're all misfits, so it really isn't that much trouble. And with even Vanessa offering to help teach her how to learn how to control her magic. With that, Yami looked at Asta and asked plain out, "What are you?" Nor I could already tell you didn't have any mana, not even a drop. But something else, especially in this form. You don't have any ki, which shocked the members of the Black Bulls that understood what Yami sensing ki meant. Since ki is supposed to be life energy, the fact that Asta doesn't have any in this form is more or less stating that he's dead. Asta asks what ki is, as Yami explains that it's basically life energy, that he knows how to sense both mana and ki, and because of that, he can better fight opponents. But Asta doesn't have mana or ki at all in this form. As Asta nervously laughs, he states, "Well, I'm actually only half human. My mom was human, and my dad, uh, he's a ghost." As they just look at him weird, with Magda stating, "Are you trying to mess with us? How the heck does a ghost have a kid? Aren't they dead?" As he states, ghosts by what they understand, aren't actually ghosts. Those are just wandering specters. Real ghosts, when they die, have a well, when people or animals die, they have a chance of going to a place called the ghost zone. It's directly connected to their world by various portals and such, though normally humans aren't able to find them. And when they do, they don't normally stick, the portals don't remain stable long enough for them to get back. As Asta reintroduced himself, coughing, stating, My name's Asta Dark. My dad's name's called Pariah Dark. And, uh, well, as he's nervously trying to say this, not knowing if he should or not, as Wolf shows up behind them, revealing himself, stating, And Pariah Dark is the king of ghosts, making Asta the prince, causing Asta to flinch at this as they turn around, seeing this odd looking wolfman thing just talk. Luck tries to fire at him, but Wolf just phases and allowing the lightning to pass through him. With Wolf growling, then Cujo shows up barking up at them with his tiny form, with some of the girls getting kind of the look that just says that that's an adorable puppy, even though it's green. Though it didn't last long as Cujo grew massive and used a partial duplication ability of ghosts to make 2 additional heads for him, basically making him look like a guard dog Cerberus, freaking them out as Asta tells them to calm down. As they do obey, chilling out. With Cujo going back to his tiny pup form, he hops into Asta's arms as Asta catches and pets him. As he sighs, remarking, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. As they are very confused at this right now and demand answers, as well as what it's supposed to mean being the Prince of Ghosts. As Asta sighs, he remarked that they should really take this inside so that they can sit down and talk. As they agree to this, Noelle looks at him thinking, Prince of Ghosts? What the hell? As they sit down, he begins to explain everything about the ghost zone that he knows, about how some people who die end up going there and will absorb energy from the place that the ghost zone is, causing them to become more physical, although look different than when they were alive. Well, not that much, but at least hair and skin color wise, and, and eyes. With that, with that, we see that they are shocked that such a place actually exists, but is also interconnected to them. But Yami remembers something about the registration form. Asta's from Hodge Village from an orphanage. And he asks, okay, but if you're supposed to be some kind of prince of ghosts, why were you raised in an orphanage? Asta sighed, remarking that something killed his mother. And then that ended up causing his mother to do something to his brother to protect him in such a way that he can't see him right now. As they're shocked by this, but not knowing what caused or killed it, made it sound like he was trying to hide something. This being that his brother is technically a devil. As he continues stating that His dad had to leave when he was really young because of, well, there are prisoners in the living world as there are prisoners in the ghost zone. Whenever an individual lives in the ghost zone for so long, they absorb the energy constantly, growing more and more powerful. And if they can't control that power, they turn into rampaging monsters, which can cause a lot of destruction. A number of those things broke out of a prison inside the ghost zone. My dad had to go and capture them, both the low level ones and the high level ones, some of which can cause irreparable damage if they entered the living world, or if they caused havoc in the ghost zone to such a massive degree, it would have a mirror effect on the living world to cause damage here. So he had to go back to capture them all. He's been doing it for years, but he's sent Wolf and Cujo to me to watch over me and help me. I've learned a lot of things. He's even sent his own knight to train me in how to use a sword when I'm in my transformed state. Yami asked, okay, I guess that explains some things. Ugh, jeez, this is insane. As he rubs his head, with Luck being excited, wanting to fight Asta. But then Magna thinks and states, wait, but Luck didn't zap me when you came out of the room and I offered to give you a tour, did he? Asta nervously laughs, stating, no, not really. Ghosts have ecto energy rather than magic, and you can convert it into mimicking different things. It can be used to mimic weaponry, as he uses his ecto energy in his hand to create a ball orb that he quickly grabs, turning it into a sword, and then turning the sword back into an orb, changing it into fire and then electrical shocks, stating that ecto energy is pretty fluent in what form it can take. With enough training, you can do all kinds of things with it. And even my body in this state can do a lot of things, like that thing I did to split myself into two. As they were surprised by this, that it would explain how he was able to do that. And now Magna is somewhat angry at Asta, but mostly impressed that he can mimic different elements with his so-called ecto energy. As then the topic came up about Wolf and Cujo and why they were picked to watch over him. Asta remarked that Cujo was picked because he was a guard dog when he was alive, meaning that he'd be good for protecting me just in case. As for Wolf, he's unique, considered to be a top-notch tracker in the ghost zone, as well as one of the very few individuals that are able to make their own portals into the ghost zone. Surprising the Black Bulls, Asta gestures to Wolf to show them. As his long green claws shoot out of his fingers, he scratches at the air, creating a portal. General looks at it, remarking that it seems similar to spatial magic. As they look through it, they see the ghost zone itself and how crazy it is. Floating islands, doors, and a bunch of other crazy creatures there. As it's quickly closed, stating, well, Asta just states, that's where my dad's from. He came here and met my mom. As they just sit down, just soaking this all in, Yami explains, well, I guess believing is seeing, and that was more than enough. As he just smirks, stating, well, looks like we got an interesting individual in our squad now, huh? As he's just fine with this. After all, this is the man who seems to give out his squad, Magic Knight squad robes, like candy to random people. At least the people. At least it seems that way, you know. As time goes on, they get used to having Wolf and Cujo around and being visible. As for Asta, he continues his training, as they do find it interesting with his abilities. They do accept him, since he doesn't seem that bad, though Noel doesn't know what to think about someone being a prince of ghosts, as he's not sure what to think. So, eh. As Magna and uh, Yami go off to go gambling with the chief of Saucy Village, they do end up losing everything. As when they return, Asta is feeding the magic beasts, which is going better than canon since he's not being attentively eaten. As they walk in, au naturel, causing Noel to freak at this, yelling at them to put some clothes on. As Yami states that they got a job for the newbies. With this, they're told that they're going to be dealing with some boars that are rampaging at Saucy Village, tearing up their crops. As Noel isn't quite happy about this, Asta's okay with it, finally being able to do something after all these years of training. As they head outside, Magna introduces his crazy cyclone, telling Noel to get on since he can't control her magic, and which means he can't fly a broom. So, yeah, there's that. As he's not very fond of the idea, but goes along with it. As Asta just transforms and begins to fly, with Magna stating, well, that's just convenient. With Asta smirking, stating, yeah, I know, right? As they begin to fly off. Once they reach Saucy Village, they get to work, or Asta gets to work. Magna's relaxing, recovering his magic, and Noel's not doing anything, stating that she's royalty, which Asta remarks, well, I'm kind of that too, causing her to stumble with her thoughts a bit, not knowing how to retort. As he then states, well, I can't control my magic. With Asta stating, that's fine, as he takes down the boars rather simply, even using his cryokinesis to freeze some of the boars. As this surprises them, Magna walks up to him and asks, okay, what was that? Asta tells him, oh, that was a ice power that ghosts can have. I I practiced how to master it in the ghost zone a while ago. My teacher was well, I not sure if I can, he was a guy, but not a human, but his name was called Frostbite. Basically, he was large, covered in fur, with ice horns, and one of his arms was completely made out of ice with a skeletal arm in it. And it even worked like a normal arm, oddly enough. As Magna looked at him, stating, that ghost zone place is pretty crazy, isn't it? As he states, you have no idea. He even made a weirdo called Clockwork. As Magna states, nope, nope, nope. Not dealing with any more weird information for a while now. Thank you very much. as they carry the boars over the Sashi village, seeing that it's covered in some kind of barrier. As Magna sees that this thing is made out of magic, he yells at Asta to cut through it. Asta, having better, well, formal training and such for combat, as well as using the anti-magic sword, he grabs it and starts hacking and slashing as Magna leads them to the center, which is where they see all the people of Sashi Village being held at giant ice spike point from large ice spikes hovering over them. Magna and Asta fire off attacks to destroy these. Magna his flames, Asta some ecto energy beams, which he can use some of while not transformed at the moment. As they see what's going on, they look down, seeing the chief of Sashi village injured pretty badly. As Magna tries to comfort him, he begins passing away as Asta places his hand on him, thinking that he might be able to do something. Though, as for any actual results, he'll have to wait and see. Flowing some of his ecto energy into this guy as he dies. Asta doesn't know if what he tried worked or not, but he'll see if it did sooner or later. As they confront the people who are doing this, the leader, like in canon, explains that the people in this village are of such low magic quality that they're more like cattle that need to be culled. And stating that they're magic knights. They have enough power in order to actually be in the magic knights so that they should understand, as this just makes them more furious. As Asta states, I've heard enough. As they fire a large ice attack, this time, instead of slicing it, Asta transforms and produces an all-out blast attack at the ice, destroying it. With his glowing red eyes, with energy steaming out of them, he states, "This ends now." With that, the villagers see Asta like this, feeling better assured that they'll be okay, as Wolf and Cujo decide to go around waiting for the perfect time. As the mages begin to attack, Asta divides himself into 4 different Astas. While one held the Demon Slayer sword, the others produced ecto energy, one using his ecto energy as a sword and a shield, one blasting out the energy at the spikes, while the other 2 produced flames using ecto energy and shot them. While Magna gave him a hand. With this, Noelle was grabbed onto by a young girl, asking if they're going to save them, as she reacted to this and developed her Sea Dragon's Lair spell. With this, Asta put himself back together and fly directly towards their leader, striking him. Seeing this as an opportunity, Cujo and Wolf blitzed at 2 of the other mages, with Cujo going into his larger form, stomping on one mage, while Wolf just full on punched another. As the mage Asta struck turned out to be a copy, an ice spike shot out at him, as Asta went intangible, passing clean through it, as he stated, "Huh, you like being tricky with ice, huh? Then try this." As Asta's eyes turned from red to blue, he sought out a cryokinesis beam at him and encased him in ice, including his grimoire, to prevent him from using any more magic, as the last one used his water magic to bail. After that was taken care of, and they were able to secure the mages with Magnus' uh, fire magic to seal them up, including their magic, they propped them up as they were telling them that they'll be taking them to the capital to be questioned and interrogated. As the leader smirked, stating, "I don't think such a thing will be happening," as instantly they self destruct using a magic item that was implanted in their leader's body, as they're surprised by their loyalty that they would just go that far for. After that, they pay their respects for the chief of Sashi village and for the sacrifice he did in order to protect the village. As Nero flew over, pecking Asta in the head, as Asta sees the stone, he grabs hold of it and uses his phasing ability to phase the rock to grab it. As the kid stated that that was his grandpa's lucky charm and offers it to them as payment for saving them from those rogue mages, since that wasn't part of the deal their grandpa made. They accepted no problem. As they got going back to the hideout, on the way, Magna looked at Asta and asked, "Hey Asta, is there a chance that the old man might go, you know?" Asta looked at him, still not sure what he did would work, so he just said, "It's possible. But once someone new enters the ghost zone, it takes a while for them to absorb enough ecto energy to gain a new kind of physical form. It's the only way that they could re enter this world in a similar form like you see me as now," as he flies next to them. Magna looks up, thinking, "So there's a chance," as he smirks, saying, "Thanks, Asta. It's weird, but it's comforting, I guess." As they got there, they give their report to Yami and such, as Magna, after seeing them look down about not being able to save the chief, Magna tells them to keep smiling, that that was what the old man would want them to do. Though Yami was worried about what those guys were after, considering massacring some random village in the Forsaken Realm doesn't seem like much of a reason to have four powerful mages just go out there. As we turn over to the scene of the hideout of the Eye of the Midnight Sun, the mage that got away gives his report, and upon hearing it, their leader said, "That's fine, we'll let them keep it for now," as a voice from the background states, "Are you sure that's wise? Isn't it necessary in order for our plans to advance?" As the leader looks back, seeing a tall figure, he smirks, saying, "Don't worry, Overgrowth. Eventually we will get the stone. It is as it will be, and nothing will stop us," as he smirks, as the tall figure shows his face being made out of plants. It smirks, stating, "I hope so. Honestly, I would rather prefer your kind to rule the world rather than these wretched humans. You know nature so much better and understand it far more superiorly than these. Ugh. As he smirks, the leader states, "Yes, I know." As we cut away back to the Black Bulls, who are getting their payment. Upon receiving it, they do get excited about how much they got, as Vanessa offers to take them to the black market as a way to find some stuff that they may need or want. As they went over there, they found out that the black market is filled with a bunch of people, including Magic Knights from multiple squads. As we see Haha Seke as he's getting all of his money taken from him by an old lady at gambling. As he walks away from the table, he bumps into Asta, Noel, and Vanessa as he is extremely jealous of Asta right now for being in the same squad as Noel and Vanessa. This is when a cloud magic thief grabs the bag of money from the old lady and starts bolting. As the old lady asks for help, Asta pretty much just charges up ecto energy into his finger and shoots the back of the guy's head, knocking him off the cloud. As he tumbles and tries to fight back, it's instantly destroyed by Asta's Devil Slayer sword as he uses a flat to knock him clean out, grabbing the bag and tossing it back to the old lady. The old lady thanks Asta as Seke ties him up and offers to bring him in order to be turned in. Asta didn't really mind, so he let him. As Seke rides off on his disturbing looking, I guess, magic motorcycle, whatever. As they leave, we see the old lady on top of a roof turn and reveal to be Julius, the Wizard King, as he remarks about Asta's interesting anti-magic, as well as that red energy he sought that doesn't seem to be magic at all. This is about when Mark shows up in the projection magic thing as a way to yell at his boss for skipping out on his work, and that he can't just go off on his own like that while there's so much work to be done, causing Julius to somewhat sigh as he's not really glad that Mark's found him, as he then thinks about what kind of job he can send them on to see what they can do. And this is where we'll be ending this part of the We What If. I do hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so that you're properly updated for all new vids that are put out. And I hope to see you guys later. Bye.